eating healthy God, it sucks. It is unbelievable.
Wait a minute, do you have to? Do you have like suddenly high cholesterol or blood pressure?
I have type 1 diabetes.
Craig's
sorry.
a diabetic.
Thanks, Matt, for clarifying that after. Appreciate that.
1/4 pre-med, baby. From ABM to PLG, from medic to medpic, the world of business is constantly evolving. We'll cover the who, what, where, when, why, and most importantly, how you get the transaction. I'm Matt Amundson, and he's Craig Rosenberg. Let's get started.
I'm watching the U.S. Open. One of their main tennis players has diabetes. He can play at that level.
I'm sure you terribly.
Yeah, Craig.
So can I.
Why aren't you there?
I was at the U.S. Open last week.
Were you really? I had a friend there watching the quarterfinals, and she caught a ball.
I
know.
That happens?
It does. And, yeah, but she was cut off from the TV. She was in the front row. But it was like, the TV, it was just, I know.
Robbed.
But I was so excited. Totally robbed. I did record it, so I'm going to go back slowly and see if there's
frame by frame.
A little flat. Absolutely. That's what you do for your friends.
Enhance.
Who did you see at the U.S. Open?
Well,
Matt?
I saw Alcaraz make very
Did you?
light work.
He's playing right now.
Yeah.
Right now, he's playing
very
Djokovic.
light work of an Italian. It was a 58-minute game. Very brief. I had a couple of honeydews.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm making those this weekend. We have our tennis friends coming over. I know.
Delicious. Definitely hangover central.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you like a big tennis person, Kathy? Or is
Yeah.
that was what I'm considering?
No, I've become one recently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's been a new thing. I don't know. You get a certain age and suddenly people are into tennis and you want to fit in with your peer group.
Yeah,
skateboarding's out at this point. Certain things are just no longer on the table. Raves, things like that. So suddenly tennis.
Oh, I still go to raves.
No, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, they're cool. But
I did see something a while back, and I had to put on the headphones, and it seems like everyone did this. So, and people were amazed I was there, But
look at you.
And I thought once, that was good.
There you go.
It was more like you just feel this pressure. I'm not really sure. And everyone has to have on headphones. It's like, well, you could just turn the volume down, but that's not the point. I understand now. It's not the point.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, that was an intriguing little bit there. Explain yourself. Was this recent that you were at this so-called headphone event?
I would have to, I don't know, is this going to be cut out? So
no.
I turned.
Oh, no, that's the point. Yeah. Jesus. We don't cut. Yeah.
I turned 65 and some of our neighbors are young. And they're like, this would be good to do. So I did. I was there were a lot of people in their 30s there, though. Like, that was interesting. All right. So they seemed to me.
Wait a minute. Hold on a sec. But does that mean that everyone else was in their 20s, or was this a rave for 60s people?
No. I was like, people were coming up like, no. Everyone else was like easily 40 years younger. Yeah. 40 years younger.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But it seems like
I experienced it. You want to do new things, so I said, "Okay, I'll do this." I don't think I'll do it like it's check done. Like, okay,
yeah, you got it out of the way. But actually, it's a great business idea. I might pitch the partners here on raves for the 60-something crowd, because I mean, like, you're at that point. You're like, fuck it, I'm going for it, man. And I'm telling you, dude. Matt, would you like to be a co-founder?
No.
Well, and it would end at like 7.
No.
Well, so here's the deal. So I was just I was escaping the heat in Austin. So I went to Hudson, New York for a month. And there's a lot of people from New York City. That's what, during the pandemic, it really grew. But there's a lot of retirees there. And I like to check out all the bars and restaurants over the course of a month. And I was like, oh, there's a new wine bar. And it's open from 3 to 7. It's like 7. And it's like, yeah, these are day drinkers. They're retired. They want to be home, dinner at 7, in bed by 9.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had a wine bar 3 to 7? Like,
well, you don't want to be, you don't want to have a couple glasses of wine and drive after 7 p.m. You want to keep your drunk driving between the hours of 3 and 7.
well, because the state troopers are out after 7. They are. In fact,
Exactly
one bar I went
correct.
to, they're like, "Oh, be careful." They just wait for us to come out of the bar, and then they just pull you over.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, Jesus. All right.
I
Well,
know.
that you guys were making fun of me, but I'm going to say Kathy brought the interesting conversation there. And just to answer your guys' original question, I'm eating salmon and hummus.
Oh,
that's a combination.
It's
well, it's from a
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean. Yeah, it's a Mediterranean place, and when I go all vegetable, I'm just like I get lightheaded, so I have to do lots of vegetables with some significant protein. I was tempted to go with the Euro plate, no bread, but I just went for it.
No bread. Come on.
No, Craig's all
Dude,
carbs.
let me tell you guys something. I have this meter, this diabetes meter, or whatever you want to call it, sugar meter, glucose meter.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's nuts to watch. You throw in some like bad carb like breads or buns or whatever.
Chips.
Man, that is like, yeah, you're dropping a bomb, man. It is shocking what that could do. Which is a bummer because I love sandwiches. Matt loves sandwiches too.
Yeah, it's my favorite food.
I love
Are there
sandwiches.
people that don't love bread? Sometimes I just get the bread. I mean,
I know. Yeah, I like your style. I'm just the same way. My kids would eat and then they'd leave sort of the end of the bread that had a lot of the flavors from what was inside, and I'll eat that. And I love it, man. But now, yeah.
you're such a parent. Just cleaning up. Are you going to finish that? Is that what you said? Are you going to finish that?
No, I actually stopped that. I just wait, and then it's like I don't even order anymore. Well, now I'll have to, because I'll have to eat healthy. Okay, so
well, hold on. If we go back on the glucose, I don't know, Matt. Let me bring this back to tennis. Serena Williams now has one of those. I guess you get your own glucose monitor, not if you have diabetes. And what she said, she wished she had had this when she was really a professional athlete. She said every morning she would have like a smoothie and I don't know, all these other things. And she realized bad for her. Where her husband can have, she would have oatmeal. She doesn't even like oatmeal. I ate it every morning for like 25 years. But she said it made her glucose spike.
Yeah.
So you and Serena Williams, I'm telling you, the sports analogies here, Craig.
Yeah.
I mean, you're almost like a professional athlete now.
I mean, the show writes itself.
You know what, though? I'm going to say this. That Kathy, as an underrated salesperson, going right to the sports analogies to make me feel better about myself, that was amazing. Like right in line. And I will say, though, that I have been testing oatmeal. I will tweet, or what's it called when you tweet at someone now that's called X? Do you X at someone? Or is it still tweet at someone? Do you know?
I think you just at them.
Oh, I will at
direct
Serena
message
Williams.
them. Direct message them.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe Serena or I are on text.
I mean, you can probably just call her. You're probably on. Yeah, just text her. Like you don't have to do it in a public forum.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
Hit her on Reddit. Keep it in the family.
Yeah.
All right. So Kathy, we appreciate you coming in hot. So everyone on the show, I've done intros for you before. I actually thought about this. Well, Matt and I worked with you. I met you through Matt because Matt had we were in Austin at an event. Yeah,
that's right.
Well, we did the event first, and I did it with Kathy. I'm like, holy shit, she's smart. Because remember back that time, and actually maybe even now we can talk about that. There was like a lot of ABM hocus pocus, right? Yeah. One was people were very confused about what it was, so that was innocent. And then two was a lot of people sort of went to the talk circuit with, frankly, not helpful sort of ABM takes. So then I'm on this panel with Kathy, and I'm like, I don't know this person, but she's really smart. And then we went to that really cool dinner at it was like a French place in it. Yeah,
it's like in a house.
I was hanging out with Kathy and her friend from New Zealand, and she's so sophisticated and smart. And I'm like, I gotta be friends with this person. And then I've been following you for years. Now you're like, you're so battle tested in the world of the ups and downs around ABM, targeting, just marketing in general, go to market. And you sort of see the like you kept going like this, but there was like ebbs and flows of people. Like I went dark for like 3 years. I'm just trying to make a comeback right now, but you sort of stayed consistently out there and always with great stuff. I mean, honestly, always with great stuff. So it's with great pleasure that we invite back Kathy Macchi to the show. The Transaction.
Thank you, Craig. Now I have to be really nice to you. Thank you so much.
No, actually, that's an opener for you to. Yeah,
now we're going to really trash you. That was just the beginning, and now it's.
By the way, Sam, before we go, guys, I learned something new on a podcast I was on the other day, which is it's really good best practice to turn on hide yourself on Squadcast.
Whoa!
Because then you don't look at yourself. Yeah, you just look at the other speakers. How about that? Okay, so Kathy, here's how.
Yeah,
you got that one. All right, so we got two big. That was a small. Two big topics we like to cover. One is, we like to hear a go-to-market story from you. It could be anything, frankly. Like some people do really funny, some people do really heartwarming, some people tell sort of hero stories. We're down for whatever. And then two, we'll talk about the things that you're seeing working today, like 1 to 3, strategies, tactics, process, whatever it is that you're seeing that, works in today's sort of crazy and changing environment. So with that, let's lead you off. Kathy's story time, which could become, depending on your story, Kathy, just from having said Kathy's story time could become a regular segment.
Yeah, recurring segment. I like it.
Recurring.
Yeah. I always try to do interesting things. So this is around go-to-market?
Well, you could also talk about Raves for 60 plus crowd, but I think just we should probably
how to really go through your Medicare plans. Like if there's anyone in that, I'm going to be your person. I've navigated it all,
Well, I've been getting my AARP mail now. They're hitting me up.
They have, do they have the best marketing? Like the day you turn 50, it shows up. Like they don't.
I turned 40, it showed up.
Are you serious?
Well, you're an overachiever. You're an overachiever.
I'm an old soul.
They wanted you. They're courting you.
Yeah,
that's nurturing. That's top of the. That's the top of the funnel.
Yeah, tip of the iceberg.
So yeah, or just a story of a company that you're seeing doing really cool, amazing things. Whatever you want to talk. Just give us something to in a story format for us. We're down for whatever.
All right, let's see. Well, actually, I have a little CMO council, so we went through what are the biggest challenges going on today. Like, do you want that? Do you want like a story where I was like a fool or something? Is that a better?
We can do both.
Keep that on the back burner. Yeah. No, let's hear.
Because there's a lot of those.
We'd love to hear more about that. Yeah.
Well, so it was interesting. This one I sort of, it started with one CMO couldn't make it. She just said, September's going to kill her. It's planning month. She was like, I can't even come. So we sort of opened it up with what is going on. And, everyone's in annual planning. So that's always just a stress in itself. And I swear a lot of people do annual planning. It's like they see it as a one-time exercise and then it goes on the shelf and everyone goes back to what they're doing. But the bigger one is, I think, a lot around the marketing org of the future and what is that going to look like? In fact, Craig, I want to have a separate conversation with you about a longer topic on that. So we've got a few projects going on now where people are like, I've got to cut X amount. You've got the board saying you can almost replace everyone with AI. You're getting budgets cut. And so I'll bring it back. So Jeffrey Moore had a whole thing back, I don't even know when. What's core and what's context?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think we're going to have to go through this exercise about what's in-house, what's most strategic, what needs to have deep company knowledge, maybe not as strategic, more operations, what's more, you need expertise but doesn't need to be in-house, and then what's just operational, you don't even, like posting, social media things, campaign execution. I think you're going to have a framework to go into the next year with what are you doing with budget cuts, what are you doing with staffing, what are you doing with AI. And I think everyone has to deal with that, unfortunately, right now.
But did the CMOs that were on the council, haven't they already cut?
They have. And I'll tell you right now, everyone's being asked to cut more. Everyone thinks you can just replace BDRs with an agent, which I don't believe. Like, in fact, the other thing that came up is we're talking about difference between like MQLs, MQAs, and buying groups. Like that just comes up. And I think there's a big difference, but like MQAs is just the operational part. How do you bundle this stuff up and get it over to BDR? It's like your BDR is your least experienced, they're the youngest person on the team, and they're the ones that had to make a change. Like marketing hasn't done anything different. Your AEs haven't done anything different. And I think until you go to buying groups where it's like the people, what's the behavior, what are you going to do? And how is every team going to do things different because you're targeting a buying group? How are you going to measure them? How are you going to do all that? Everything just falls on the BDR. Like you change, but we're going to stay the same. I mean, Matt, you've dealt always with BDRs. I just think they're we need more meetings. Everything falls on them. And that is your youngest people in the organization.
No, yeah.
I mean, what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, there's a couple things that I think are really interesting. One is, and I don't know what to do about it because I'm in the world of trying to help people cut costs and grow at the same time. So we could talk about AI in a sec. I think the big thing is that we forgot that early pipeline until you figure it out costs money. It costs money and you're going to fail. You know, sometimes you're going to hit it. And, you know, some people that like, you know, have their, they sort of nail it out of the gate. But like, look, even folks have done everything will come in and if you can't spend money to fail, you're just not going to unlock that thing that works all the time. That is brutal because if you have to be efficient in trying to figure out pipeline, you're probably going to lose, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with SDRs. They don't really become economical until you figure it out. Then, and by the way, even now it's tough. Like if your contract size isn't big enough, you know, but that's a different issue. The big one is like there's so many things that have to be sort of figured out in order to get to that point of efficient growth. It's really hard right now because you got to spend money and you got to be inefficient to become efficient. And that sort of, that's not, there's a level of unfairness here. It's a dangerous like road to go down, right? Because let's say you're a new CMO and you're starting a new place and they're, you know, typically you're brought in because the pipeline sucks. And, you know, you go in, you want to go, but to figure it out costs money and you're going to lose. You're going to lose and you're going to have to use those losses to go figure out what you want to go do next. And that initial part of like the sort of that conflict that you're just mentioning there, Kathy, that's something like I think about a lot is some of the best demand gen people that we've known over the years. Someone's being kidnapped in the background in case you want to know.
Not at my house.
Okay, good. It's just at Sam's. They were relatively efficient. But you know what I mean? Like, even like if you look at the big numbers people were putting up, like back in the day, it was still cost money, you know? And like, and that's tough. Okay. So that's one part of what you just said. The second part is like, until you figure it out, you can't it's very hard to use AI to help you. Matt always tells people, no, you figure it out and then you use AI. And that's the thing is like one of the reasons why the AI SDR the market's in flux and people are trying to figure it out is you don't go to the AI SDR and go, we're sucking at SDRing, you go do it.
Yeah.
No, you go, this is how we SDR to who, right? To like what accounts, what people, what we say, right? And what we do. And now can AI make this better? And what you'll find is like AI SDRing can work, but not until you've figured it out.
Yeah.
And that is like the issue. That's that secondary issue, which is we got to have money. We got to go figure it out and we got to use people to do it, right? In your brain. And you got to go. And that takes trial and error. And then once you do, then AI is like this fuel on the fire. So like Jason Lemkin, you see him on LinkedIn, he's doing incredible stuff. He's narrowed it. Like he's got 2 sales reps. He's got far fewer humans than ever before, and he's using AI for everything. But guess what, man? He's been in business for 15 years. Like what they do, who they sell to, what they sell, these things are established. What the companies we work with are either in product market fit, trying to find it, or they found it and now it's like in the washing machine again. And like that is not like something that's conducive to like letting AI handle all of these things. So when you bring that up, Kathy, those two big issues come to mind. So
I think you nailed it. I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, not only in SDRs, but for everything. Like I did some prompt the other day. We were doing some research. Therese was like, oh my God, that's great. Show all our salespeople. I'm like, well, I can't just give them the prompt. Like I had the experience to know what to ask, how to refine it. And I also had good taste about what I wanted as the output. Like you can't just hand that to someone who's 22 and has never done it before.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like we've done a lot of ICP work, but it only works when you already figure out your ICP. Now I'm going through to say, what's your best ones based on customer lifetime value or NRR. But when they say, oh, we don't know what our market is, I said, well, I don't have anything to analyze. And that is a trial and error. And Craig, I mean, you really nailed it. People just want to AI that. And you've got to, that's the human part. You've got to figure that out. And you've got to test enough and know either this is good or bad and go on to the next. But learn from that, like what didn't work. And that's not AI.
Yeah. Matt, do you have any comments, or you're doing the lazy podcaster? By the way, you came up with that term. That was not me.
Well, here's the thing.
He's watching the Alcaraz game right now, and I'm hearing a lot of yelling in my back room. So my guess is Alcaraz is doing okay right now.
Look, here's the thing, all right? I don't want to be judged for what's happening in my background, okay? That's number one. Number two, lazy podcaster. You're just running with my takes, Craig.
Well, it was a really good one. That one had a deep effect on me. It's one of the, by the way, it's one of the funnier, when you do your own jokes, you don't really laugh.
Yeah.
And then, so like when I listen to, you laugh at your own jokes?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Well, they're probably good. But he had a very good that he was paying attention look. So if he's being a lazy podcast, he's got it down.
Well, no,
maybe he's not even Matt. Maybe he's AI Matt. He's just that lazy podcaster. Matt is on this.
Now you're talking.
Well, he told this story. It was incredible about how the sales rep is pretending to listen and isn't really, and he's like, it's the lazy podcast. They're like, yeah. And he's like, I know you don't know what I'm saying. So anyway, sorry, Matt. It was such a good take. It was actually an insult comment.
Yeah. I think one of the things that has to be done is, and this can be true for a lot of go-to-market operators who work with technical founders, is in a lot of cases, like AI has reached a point, whether it's in engineering or whether it's in, product ideation, like products like Lovable and whatnot, where it can do a lot of the work for you, right? Like, of course, you have an understanding of what you're trying to build and you're prompting it correctly. I think on the go-to-market side, AI is way far behind. And so it's incumbent upon go-to-market operators to sort of do the design work. And what you're talking about, Kathy, is what we heard when we had David Boscovich on here, which is like, it's not just about what you can create. It comes down to like your taste level, right? And I think that this is going to become like a really important part of marketing, as like marketing, maybe some of the technical stuff gets executed by AI, and the arts and crafts element of marketing, for years we're like, hey, we're not the arts and crafts team. In a lot of ways, we're kind of going to have to be, right? Like, because our taste level around what does the content look like, what is the length and breadth of the content, et cetera, is going to become critical.
Well, what's good?
Yeah.
Like what is good? Be on the event. Yeah.
But the point I wanted to make is there's got to be education either at the board level or with your CEOs for them to understand that, like, yes, you probably can replace people with AI, but you also can't. You need the right people who can prompt it. And if I took my marketing team and cut it in half and said I'm going to replace their productivity with AI, I think the better bet would be to say, keep the marketing team and see how much more you can do with the implementation of AI, and not say, hey, let's subtract so we can be, just at baseline or maybe 10% more.
Yeah.
I would
I
agree.
think that's a good point. Yeah, for sure. Let me do this one time. So Kathy took over as host of the show and prompted us into conversation. I love this.
Yeah. Guest hosts coming.
Guest host. Yeah, guest host. So two other things that came to mind that I might forget as I'm talking, which happens
I like
now.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why AARP is reaching out. Is
constantly because you keep forgetting.
But there is an on the other hand, right? On the other hand, you have to be willing to disrupt yourself
totally
in this world.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, what I see from CMOs and CROs is they keep going, well, I did this here, like this is what it takes to do it. And it's like, okay, but like, dude, sorry, we had this episode with David Boscovich. Kathy, you got to listen to it. The guy changed a lot of our, yeah. And one of the things that guy did was he just said, you know what, we're going to crack the whole thing open and let's just look at it. Mm-hmm. And let's think differently about everything, and anything you can dream of. Let's go see if we can go do it, whether it's AI or not, by the way. Like, for example, he has a lot of AI stories, but like he hired a basically public speaker actor to do the demos. That's a human play. That's from him rethinking everything. And by the way, when he pitched that to a guy that, another person who was advising him, the guy was, 30 years in tech, was like, well, that's not going to work. And he's like, oh, it will work. And it works great. Like they use him for demos. So anyway, it's not just human, it's AI. The thing about like the budget and growth thing is like, my first 2 points stand. It's a dangerous road to go cheap into figuring out is not going to work. But on the other hand, a classic CMO or CRO play is, like I said, is to not rethink everything, not have a good story about how they rethink everything, and just say, I need this money because this is how we do it.
Yeah.
And the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest AI thing that we should take that's not about the tech is like, just rethink this. Just for like, can you just put your past aside for a sec? You could bring it back in, but let's look at how we're doing things. Let's look at how buyers buy and see what we might think differently about. Okay. So that's when I heard you make a noise, Kathy. Follow up on that noise. Go.
Yes. I agree with you 100%. Well, there's also the Alcaraz game is going on. There's a lot of noise and they keep coming to my door. So it must be good. But onto this topic, I think it's hard for a lot of people, and I think it's a personality thing who you are. Think of all the MQL and how things were done. Everyone had the funnel, they had this, and they were incredibly successful. They were on stage at every Marketo show, Eloqua show, everything. So now suddenly you're in your late 40s, early 50s, or less if you're Matt, and you're now CMO. And you're going to say to them, everything you did to get here, don't do anymore. I think it's real. Some people can make the switch, and some, I think it's really hard. I've had meetings where they're like, I understand everything you're saying, but at the same time, it's a volume game. Like they're still in that mindset. And I think maybe half the people can make the switch and half the people can't.
Yeah. And I actually think we're all agreeing with each other too much, but that I think is what's happening right now.
I don't think that's what's happening right now.
You don't think 50% of the 50% of the executives right now can't bring themselves around to make the switch? That is true.
No, I'm joking with you. You said we were agreeing too much.
I hate you. That would have been
But I don't
fun.
think that's the only thing going. But I don't think that's the only thing going on. I think the economy has a big thing to do with it right now. So if you have anyone 35 or younger in your team, they've never seen a downturn, like never.
Yeah.
So everything's just gone up. Or I'm like, my whole life, like I can go back 87, the 97, the 2001, the 2008, like that's the economy. And so for the first time, companies who have been around, it was like a 17-year run. If you've run a company that pretty much the last 20 years, you've never seen a downturn. And now that they have one, I think that's why you're getting, even when companies making money, they're slashing. It's just like, oh my God, everything's a slog now. It's hard. I'm just going to cut everything. But I mean, that's the last almost 20 years where we've been on an amazing run.
Yeah.
And so everyone's uncomfortable. Like, I've never dealt with this situation as a CMO, as a CEO, as anything. And I think your first thing is CFOs. I'm not going to spend money to this predictability. We have to cut. We get rid of staff. It's AI. I think it's just people panic.
I think a lot about, I think of everything in the context of the sales deck, right? That we always talk about, the world's greatest sales deck, where it's like, hey, we now live in an AI economy and here's all the proof points. There's winners and losers. And there's people who are winning. There's clear examples, right? Like the Cursors of the world, the Lovables of the world. I mean, Windsurf's CEO definitely won. The rest of their company, I'm not so sure. And there are losers, right? Like there are people that are getting crushed by, a couple of kids that'll build a AI application in a couple of weeks that, can stomp out the incumbent competition. And so I think that there's fear. I'm not saying it's purely or it's not economically driven, but I think that there is like this massive sea change that's coming. It's part of the reason why Craig and I started this podcast. Although we started it like before AI started coming to the forefront the way it is. But there's not enough people telling you what to do with the new technology or how to build the new playbook. And so people are scared. And I think what Craig said is right, which is like, you have to challenge your own assumptions around what you can do with AI. You've got to give yourself the space to experiment with it. Because the reality is, if you don't, it's going to come from the top. And they're just going to say, with AI, you can do, with half, you can do it, right? So if you do not do the work to make the shifts around whatever your process is, whether it's content creation, whether it's product marketing, whether it's demand gen programs to incorporate AI, someone will do it for you. And that's going to hurt a whole lot more than you figuring it out yourself.
Yeah. I think there's two things there, Matt. One is, I think people are taking AI and just like a BDR. Let's just AI the BDR process.
Sure.
As opposed to let's rethink, what do people want? Well, I want information I can't get off your website. So is the problem you should AI your website first, or how to serve up content different? So I think a lot of it's we're just optimizing a process we already have in place. And then there was another point I was going to make, but I'm going to try to Craig while I rethink that point now, because I can't remember it. I'm falling into the Craig trap.
I often do that where I'm like, hey, while you guys do that, I'm gonna go get water, and then I come back and I have like the instantaneous move on because I have no idea what I was gonna say. I mean, it's unbelievable. Let me give you my second one, which is a lead in for you, Kathy. We just had this conversation. I started to write this, you guys, on my LinkedIn post on another Boscovich clip where he was like, here's what we do. We segment into groups of 100 to 500 accounts that have relatively homogeneous use cases and messaging. And if there's over 500, then we keep segmenting down. And I was just going, first of all, that's ABM. We had this big issue. We just had a guy on the show. It's like ABM didn't work. It's like, but his definition was passing information to sales via Slack. It's like, no, it was about targeting. A lot of the issues that people try to solve are downstream instead of just targeting who. And like the who thing has been, in my opinion, amazing.
The who is everything. Like 65% of your success comes when you have the right accounts.
Yes.
You have the right accounts and people. Because everything else, if you have the wrong accounts, doesn't matter.
Totally.
I mean, and really the nice thing with AI is you can basically, you do ABM at scale now for the first time. And not ABM at scale like what people are talking about, like I'm going to choose the top 10,000 accounts and I'm just going to email them all the same thing. Like that's the same message. The whole thing is, and I find use cases being one of the best ways to segment. A lot of times it's industry and then use case. And if you can get those things down, and I love these saying, once you have 500, split it again. I worked with a guy a long time ago. He was from Wipro, and he's the one that really pushed us on that. It was like, it was 100. But of course, we deal with much at Wipro. They sold to the top 1,500 accounts in the world. They're like, if you're sending out something more than 100 people, stop. Like it's not personalized enough. And that really stuck with me. Like, learn more about them, and then you can send something out. And he just shut it down. But it makes you do the research. And that's one thing you can do at scale now. Like, that was a luxury we didn't have before.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's a second part to it that Boscovich also brought. So this is a guy, by the way, Kathy, who figured it all out as a developer. Yeah. This was not a OG go-to-market guy. As you can tell, we love the guy. He's like, and he's also amazing to hang out with.
Great hang.
But what you just said is really important. When there's 100 and they have a homogeneous use case, researching them is actually more effective. And being able to, think about just a relevant touch that's going to work for that group. Like he's doing these market reports in AI, and he was able to test with 3 CEOs. He's like, it worked. He's only got 100 accounts, so it's perfect. He knows that these folks are this very similar, and I got this thing that will work. And, a lot of these young folks aren't calling it ABM, but they're using tools, like Clay, and they are going at 45 accounts at a time. I'm like, hallelujah, man. Like that is how you do it. And, it's everyone's like, well, it doesn't scale. Yes, it does, because what these kids are doing that all of us old folks are like, is they go find another 45. It's like they're finding people where the use case makes total sense.
Yeah.
And they can wrap their hands around it. The other thing, you guys, I just got to tell you, so like targeting, I think it's still like this thing that, if I can walk in, if I were in Kathy's shoes still, like Topo, we used to do this all the time. We'd go in and they'd be worried about some point in the revenue process that got stuck. And you could attribute a lot of the issues there. There's always execution issues. Do not get me wrong. Matt can tell you about his favorite salesperson, trying to deliver to him a demo. But you can attribute lift, you could see lift by changing who you put in the top against every part of the revenue cycle. I still tell the story of Gainsight, man. They had a app for retention. They had a retention problem. They tried everything because they were experts at it. They figured out that the SMB was the big churn problem. So they just started giving it away. They said, SMB, here's 3 of our competitors. Take it. Churn fixed, not just lifted, done. Now they're in the benchmark area. And it's like the targeting thing, you could do such crazy stuff now that and learn so much. Like we had Jordan Crawford on, and he's like, put your wins into AI and ask it to tell you 2 things that you don't know about these accounts that are common between all 5 to 10, even if you're a startup. And he's like, dude, you'll learn things you never even thought of. It's like, for us ABM folks, this is the greatest time to do this ever. It's unbelievable. All right. So Kathy, you agreed with me again. Or is Alcaraz 15 love or whatever the story is?
Yeah, whatever.
Is 15 love good?
It's just the start.
Oh, okay. Well, he's starting.
So it's like 1-0.
Okay. Well, he's getting there. So yeah, but Kathy, tell us just really quick on that topic, and then you can rekindle us. But it sound like how is the market different in terms of receptiveness to a lot of the fundamentals that you've been teaching over the years on the account-based side? Do you see, in my opinion, it's the young startups that have figured out segmentation without calling it segmentation. But in the mid-market and up, the folks that you work with, what are you seeing? And not just segmentation, but everything.
Right.
how they're,
I find people are getting the audience part now, but it's really hard. It's still, what's that saying? If you have the data, show me the data, but if not, we'll go with my opinion. You know that, you know, and a lot of us still, we just got off a call with a client and everyone, oh, here's our ICP. And we had 5 different answers from 5 different executives, sales leaders. Right. And so you've got to get into the data. And really what I've seen lately is like what you talked about with Gainsight, that's a perfect one. We had one recently where, you know, we thought anyone could use our product, which is a really bad place to go. You know, like, yeah, anyone could. So, you know, target it, you know, like find it out. But when we went through the end of the year, you know, most of it went to under 50K deals. And it was like this much of their revenue, but this much of their effort. And so now it's like, okay, now we proved it. Who really are our best customers and who's not going to churn? And even if they are going to churn, maybe you have a different motion. Like, if they are going to churn, hey, you have to hit a number each quarter, regardless. We know we can win them in 60 days. We'll take them, but they're not going to get any CSMs. They just get online support. Or when you have customers have your whole platform to churn, maybe they need to get white glove. Like, just because they're not in your ICP, how can you make them in your ICP? Is there a different way to service them so they're profitable? And that's what I'm seeing some of those conversations starting to be. And I also see people changing markets now. Like they really need to expand their markets. And so they have to look at other places.
Yeah. Oh, so they were actually locked in on a segment and now they've got to expand it and they're going to have to use data to go figure those things out. That makes sense. That's a similar problem, different situation. Okay. That's cool. All right. Well, then I think we've made progress as an industry on the audience side. I think we'll have to continue to figure out like how we get 5 people on the same page. Is there anything else from the CMO Council that you want to bring up, or should we go to?
We know. Dealer's choice on this, Craig. Go for it.
Yeah. So what do you think of Matt?
Other than he's handsome?
Oh,
there he is.
There we go.
God damn it.
Let the weekend begin. God,
let's shut this thing down. Go watch Alcaraz.
Wow.
So can I get really tactical with Kathy, Matt?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Because she just works with a different set of customers of mine. So Kathy, you know, I'm doing a ton with really early stage. So we're just sort of figuring this stuff out. Channels. So we've sort of moved from audience into what works from a channel perspective. So I'm just gonna, is there any trends around like what's working more than others, or should I still be thinking about it as a mix? But like, I don't know, you know, like I get asked all the time, should I do targeted ads? Should I do LinkedIn? Like, like we've seen on the SDR side, like if the market's receptive to the phone, calling's working great again, for that cohort, and email's not, the data, I just looked at data. This guy's, really interesting. I'll look up his name is Omar. We're going to have him on the show.
Oh yeah. Omar. He used to be with Altimeter. Yeah.
Yes, Omar Akhtar.
Yeah, and he's great.
His new company, he's amazing. And Omar, please forgive me for forgetting your name. We just talked about my AARP moments, but yeah, like he went through a bunch of stuff, and some of it's intuitive, but like real. He's like, if you're in PLG, it's all paid search, right? And and he said, but the, you know, sort of not sales led, but, you know, non-PLG money from digital's going into one-to-one field events because those are the number one tactic for many people. So I'm just going to, that's my long setup for you. But any insights for us on that, like getting in the weeds, here things that we should think about?
So 2 points. So one is, yes, events, we've seen that really come back, and more small, intimate events, dinners, things like that. And again, not PLG. You have to have a decent price point. But I think people are enjoying that. There was a CMO I was talking to the other day. And she said, yeah, I'm looking for small events to go to with other CMOs. Like that's been a consistent. But I will say it's still an integrated thing. Like you just can't do a dinner. Like there's no silver bullet. Everyone wants to know what's the channel. And what I'll say is, if you really did statistical analysis, I will tell you that as many people that went to your dinner bought from you as probably who didn't buy from you. And when you're to your ad, I mean, like, yeah, everyone who bought from us went to a dinner. Yeah, well, everyone went to your webinar. Half of them didn't buy either. Like, so they just people aren't used to statistics. Otherwise, you'd be like email. Well, you would never email anyone because look at the low rate of conversion. But if people are giving up email, no. So I think the channel matters, but I think it matters more. Do you have something to say? And what is your offer? And then just put it out in every damn channel. Like, don't worry so much about the channel is the least important. You know, people will find you.
Sam, make sure you cut that for LinkedIn.
You got it.
That was a very good rant. So I'm going to respond because I forgot the first response, but I do remember the second one. We were just talking about AARP.
This is like podcast for the senior group. We'll just have a separate one. Well, Craig and I'll be like, I had another point, but I can't remember it. Can you?
Oh, that'll be fun. We got to do like Golden Girls.
Yeah.
I'm
so
Rose.
You other two, Sam, Matt, you can't be on it, but I've got some other folks that could join. We could be the marketing curmudgeons, you know. Yeah, I remember that.
That's not based on age. I've been that for years.
Yeah. So I a couple reactions. One is I just want to tell you guys a channel experience I had a la AARP and Bank of America, my bank, because they sent me this offer, and we all get the offers, but they did digital multiple times and then they're my bank, so they sent me mail. So I felt like I had to open it, and it was that offer. And I went back to the digital to open it and actually inquired about it. The multi-channel thing, I think sometimes we don't think about it the right way. Like we always think, well, they didn't read the email. Well, probably not. Or they did and they moved on, or they kind of looked at it. Like, we don't know. But like, that's why what Kathy's saying is really important, which is like, well, then they sent me mail that I actually opened. And I was worried that, I was, I was in trouble with something. So I read it and I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Right. And it's like an auto refinance. I'm like, that sounds good to me. Right. Although that it wasn't
Didn't
a good
your car
deal.
get stolen?
Yeah. So I'm refinancing the car both of them. I have 2 new cars now.
Okay.
So everyone knows.
4 cars.
That's correct. And so I want to refinance the 4 cars. But multi-channel is, that's right. I asked you for channel, and it's really about the variety of channels with the same message. I 100% agree with that. Okay. So speaking of channels, so one of my pet projects has been to get people to follow the LinkedIn transaction page. But so I tried the thing where you invite people via the page, right? It says invite members, and it sends them essentially like a direct mail that comes and it says Craig Rosenberg has invited you to this page, and it doesn't convert. I have figured that out. I'll tell you guys about that in a sec. But what we did was I got HeyReach, and I cut the people. So I had I took the people in my network and then cut out the people that are already following the page, and then narrowed that, which was hand to hand, by people that I knew me, because I didn't want to do this understood my humor, because I tested a formal HeyReach message and it bombed. Mm-hmm. But then when I tested against friends with a informal message that was more me, it worked. So I got 1,500 people that I consider friends or pseudo friends, and I put it in HeyReach. And with that, I used an automated message, but I was able to put in a little humor. And what I did was I said, this is an AI message. I sent this with HeyReach, right? So I admitted it, and I sort of try to make a joke about it. And our conversion rate has been incredible. the first set, it was like 50%. Now it's probably going to be like 30. I'm in sort of a different friend zone type of thing. And it's interesting because it was automated. It was not necessarily written by AI, but it was mass send. But I knew my audience. I had to have people that had seen me make jokes about myself, right? Been self-effacing, like those kinds of things, and made them the target. So it's really a personality thing. And conversion rate's been great. I've had people laugh and respond, and we've reconnected and jumped on calls.
Did they text LOL or?
Oh no, not tag. Yeah, nobody moved it from channel to channel, Matt. They remained in the LinkedIn channel, but yes, I got
how do you know they laughed? That's not like a video channel.
I got like 13 LOLs.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
I'm going to make it 14
That's a
after
KPI.
this. I'm going to make it 14.
Thank you. Did I send it to you too? 16 haws, 16 haws.
Oh.
No, only one or two with exclamation points and one complaint.
Ooh.
Yes, it was amazing. I'm like, oh, and she's from Germany, so she's probably just a little more formal. She said, well, in my opinion, it's more polite to greet someone. But here's the thing, you guys. I tested it. The greeting converted less because I don't know. We can only guess why. But when I pulled up the, yes, this is AI and I'm reaching out to you to the top, a joke, then conversion went up. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd mention that it's worked really well with one complaint. So someone say, well, you did a mass email, you used automation to do it, but I knew my audience. I had except for one, and I knew what they appreciated, and I was willing to lose a little bit for a bigger conversion rate. And so,
so did you hit your number that you wanted?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Like we have Matt set a slightly higher goal. I'm on my way. I said originally to get to 1,000 and we were at like 700. I got us there. And then I created a new tranche where we're going for 1,500. So it's a bigger jump.
Yeah.
And I think we're at 1170 or something. So, we're getting there.
Shooting up the airwaves, baby.
Hey Reach only lets you send 40 a day.
Come on, Hey Reach. Let's increase that.
202 new followers in the last 30 days.
I thought you were saying the last 30 minutes. Like, no kidding. Yes.
Yeah. Kathy's like
clamoring
if
now.
Craig would call me, I got this on lock. Okay, so sorry. I just thought I have no idea why I mentioned that. But it was fun to mention. Okay, what you guys always in the ABM world always talk about sales.
Yeah.
And nothing happens until something gets sold.
Oh yeah, well thank you for that. Ironically, Mike Damp.
Yeah, that's a real good LinkedIn post. That's one of those. Like if it's in stock, we've got it. If it's in stock, we've got it. Nothing gets sold,
Yeah. Sales is changing a lot as well, and they're going to have to get more out of each sales rep because the same thing we're talking about from a CMO perspective that's happening with sales. And like Ryan Azus, who I work with, I said, well, look, guys, if we get 100K quota lift out of the reps, that's, depending on their numbers, let's say it's 10 reps. Like if we could just get that lift, right? And the same problem sort of exists on the AI side. So AI can accelerate what to be right. But if you don't know what is right, then it's actually not going to help you much. But that's a different topic. The topic I want to talk about is the targeting and the changes that you've seen, Kathy, on the marketing side. Was that for marketing or was that for sales as well? Like, are they more receptive to a more targeted account-based approach, or are they still begging?
That's a mix still. That is still a mix. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Matt?
I find it's interesting. I think like individual sales reps are like pretty keen to test out AI. I haven't seen like the top down approach all that much just yet. I see that much more on the marketing side. Unless you're talking sales development, which in a lot of cases is in sales.
But I think you added another issue though. So we've done this with ICP work. So let's say we redo it. Great, here's your ICP. Then it affects territory planning.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in the middle of the year. Like we did one, they're like, well, there are not enough accounts in certain territories. And you can't change that mid-year for anyone.
Yeah.
So for me in sales, that's sort of a once a year thing. So you've got to plan ahead of time, a few months. What are we going to do with that list? Because you can't shift.
Matt answered a different question, Kathy. So thank you for redirecting us back to the topic at hand. Can I just add to what Kathy said, which was the actual conversation is, so Greg Alexander was the founder of SBI, and like, he was a gruff dude. Like he was tough, but like he was a friend of mine. I used to love taking that guy out to a drink and just hearing his thoughts on stuff. And he had this thing on territory design. He would say, it was like, for me, like I carried it with me everywhere on ABM. He said, look, everyone views territory design as fairness. And he's like, that's not it. It's putting the right person in front of the account they are more likely to close. And he's like, if you take that concept, then you might do dynamic territories. You would likely, and on enterprise level, you assign them regardless of geo. Right? Like you want, and he said, like, he was talking about, where he would be in an account, he'd be like, well, like, what do we know? Like, where are they most likely to close? Now, back then it was like, who can get to the CIO of this company, right? Sure. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's still a start. And he'd say, then you put him on it. Because he's like, I'd fight with the CRO. He'd be like, well, it's not his territory. It's like, do you want to close that account or not? He's like, well, he can introduce him. I'm like, again, do you want to, if you want to close that account, let's put the biggest percentage odds against that by matching the right person with the right account. It's very account-based conceptually, but if you think to all the territory discussions you've had, you often don't hear that. You put that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
Never.
Plant this in your head. Plant this in your head.
I like it though.
And then go, it's great. It's great. Honestly. So there you go. We'll leave it at that on that one. All right. So
wait a minute. I want to go. So Matt, you've been in sales a lot. How would you implement something like that? Like, how would you decide?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I mean, I think what Craig is talking about is the absolute right way to do it. But how are you gonna get that? How are you gonna roll that out?
So is that one of those things that sounds great at 100,000 foot, but it
and I think like an expert CRO can roll something like that out and make it work and massage it and make it feel like it's equitable for everybody. And like, I am not in favor of like necessarily quote unquote fairness, but at the same time, it's like, when I think about the practicality of something like that, and I've been working in startups for most of my career, I've only really been at one large organization, is if it's not equitable, if the reps think that they can't close, if they think that they're being mistreated, they bail, and you run into like a pretty difficult sales culture. I'm not saying that that's right? Like I'm getting towards the end of my career. All I want to do is win. Give me another exit, give me 2 more exits, and I'll call it a day. And whatever's the fastest way to get there, I'm all for that. I just, being the CMO and looking across the aisle at my peer as a CRO and saying like, hey, try to see if you can roll this out without having pitchforks and torches at your front door, good luck.
Okay, let me address that really quick.
Yeah, please do.
Because I think that's right. That at the end of the day, you can't move fast enough by taking that concept.
Yeah.
But the concept's better because one is for 8 to 10 account, like strategic account reps, you shouldn't do any other methodology.
I would agree with that.
Yes. And you should hire for those accounts. One of the things he used to do was he would have the list of target accounts. They would look for reps that sold in an account. He'd say, great, as the interview process, go get me a call with the CIO.
Yeah, that's badass.
They had to prove they could get in there. Okay, so that's on the high end. On the low end, though, dynamic territories is interesting, like what Gradient Works is doing, which is matching accounts in real time to the right rep. So you can do it at scale. Now,
how do they decide the right rep? What does that mean?
Well, it should be data driven, right? Like, does that rep is that rep more likely to close that kind of account in use case, right?
Yeah, but the thing that I fear is that like an engine like that might only make things more equitable, right? So it's like, oh, well, Craig's already, he's only 10% away from his quota, and Matt's, sitting on a big fat 0, so let's get him stuff, and right, and if it's feeding me and I'm a low performer, it's just going to get low performance.
Yeah, no, but that assumes that it's only feeding the low performer.
Right.
But if you took that concept of the best rep to close that account, that's like, you need Michael Jordan's teammates to do pretty well, but if Michael Jordan wants something, you give it to him.
Totally.
And if the guy's at 90%, you actually have that guy. He's clearly shown he can. You give him the
exactly,
and not to him.
Exactly.
And and I've never recommended this on the low end. What I just said.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
that makes sense then. Okay.
It's too hard. It's just too hard. I don't. For me, sales reps quitting because they don't get the right accounts is just because you're not thinking about your account strategy strategically.
Totally agree.
Because you have to hire for it, organize for it, and all those things. Yeah. If someone can't have an account, so think about that. Like if you put this in play and said, I'm going to put the right accounts to the right reps, and then someone doesn't have enough good accounts, then they shouldn't be on the team.
Totally agree.
It sounds crazy. But I do agree, Matt, like generally it's hard to imagine in mid-market, although mid-market's often, their numbers are often lower than SMB and enterprise. So maybe that's something we should consider. But you're looking at strategic enterprise, doesn't matter where they're located. It's the best place to close. It might matter where they're located, right? Yeah. Because you might want to wait out front their building every day. And then it's actually really interesting in velocity, especially like inbound velocity. Can the wheel spin to the right types of reps?
Yeah.
But yeah, we can have Hayes Davis come on and talk about dynamic territories one day and how that works. And we'll invite Kathy. He's in Austin. They can go get breakfast tacos together. Okay.
And we could just do the podcast from the restaurant while we eat.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That's an excuse for us to come down there. So
Live
World
show.
tour.
Another month. It's a good time to be here. Not September. Too hot. October.
Yeah, I like that. We'll make that happen. Okay, so we're at time. All right,
Super-sized show today.
Great comeback. Yeah, great job. Like, what a great show. Dang it, that was good. Highly interactive too. I love that. And even though Alcaraz, who I don't know, by the way, I got to learn about this guy, was playing. I'll go watch a little bit of this guy play tennis. I don't know anything about tennis, but I'll watch it.
There's people watching at my house, and they keep kind of have a like French door. Oh, something just happened. That's what I'm hearing.
It's a watch.
Well, it's a watch party. And then they come and they're trying to give me signals at the door, like whatever.
Sam's segmentation of our audience has told us that there's a 14% Alcaraz fan rate in our database. So,
which means there's an 80% Djokovic hate group. So yes, he's playing Djokovic right now. So
that's intriguing. I know Djokovic. All right, I'm gonna go watch this. Yeah, he's a good buddy. I'm going to text him. Hold on a sec. All right.
He and Serena. I know. It's amazing.
Yeah. We'll do a Zoom
together. It was
a
pleasure. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, guys. Talk soon. All right, later.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Transaction. Craig and I really appreciate the fact that you've listened all the way to the end. What are you actually doing here? For show notes and other episodes, please visit us at thetransactionpod.com. Like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other place you get your podcast from. Either you have walked away from your podcast device, or this is playing somewhere in the background. Someone in your house would really like for you to shut this off now.